Hey friends, Ash here with gentsscents. Hope you're doing really well. It's time to do the greatest tradition of all mankind. Pilfer somebody else's idea, make it your own. Real Men Real Style did a version of this. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. Check him out if you haven't. I'm going to be ranking 21 of the most popular men's fragrances on the market from S, which is the best, down to D, which is the worst. No F though. I wanted to leave it at D tier. Everybody at least gets a D. So that's not really failing, kind of. It's just way below average. So we've got 21 fragrances. Like I said, these are some of the most popular ones on the market today. I ranked by bestsellers from a bunch of different websites and picked most of the top ones from there, but I tried not to get a bunch of multiples from the same line. So you're not going to see Sauvage Eau de Toilette plus Eau de Parfum plus Parfum or anything like that. Just one Sauvage. With all that out of the way, let's jump into it. I'm also going to link this tier maker below, along with the tiers and where I put the fragrances below as well. So if you want to go into this after the video is done and do your own, feel free. And I'll have everything here where you can follow along with all the fragrances as we go. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pick and choose at random. I'm not going to go, from the first one on. So let's kick things off with Jimmy Choo Man Blue. Now, Jimmy Choo Man Blue is a good fragrance at discounters for the price, but if we're talking retail, which is where I'm pulling these from, bestsellers at retail, I don't think it's really worth it. With the amount of money that you pay for this one at retail, you can pick up much better fragrances at discounters or even better fragrances at the retail store. So for me, I'm gonna drop that one into C tier. It's inoffensive, it's not extremely unique, but it smells pleasant. Again, it's just for that price at retail, there are better things that you could pick up. Though at discounters, it's a solid fragrance to throw into your bag and, keep as a dumb reach or something like that. Next up, let's go Mont Blanc Explorer. This one is an Aventus style fragrance, so essentially you could think of it as a designer Aventus. Again, another fragrance that at discounters is a much better buy because it's heavily marked off. But even at retail establishments, it's a good fragrance. It's super versatile. It's gonna pull you a lot of compliments, and I do like the way it smells. It's grown on me a bunch over the years. So Mont Blanc Explorer, I'm gonna drop that into A tier. Almost sounded like I said dromp. I'm gonna dromp that into A tier, drop it. Let's go Le Male Le Parfum next. This one, I had a strong feeling was going to be bad or extremely forgettable when it came out. Then I got my nose on it, actually love it. I think it smells fantastic. One of the best Le Male flankers of the past, forever, ever. Yeah, really, really good fragrance. I like what it does with the Le Male DNA. I think it's very wearable, compliment pulling. It's got a touch of class to it as well. That one I'm gonna drop also into A tier. Now let's go Tom Ford Oud Wood. Yeah, this one I'm just gonna tell you, I'm dropping it right into the S tier. Yeah, I love Oud Wood. I think it smells fantastic. Some people out there are gonna say, oh, but the performance is not good. It's not strong enough for me. I don't care, okay? It smells that good. It smells really nice. It's got this bit of sweetness to it, that dark woodiness that you would expect, but it never goes animalic, so you can wear it pretty much anytime as long as it's not extremely hot out. Office safe as well for me. Love Oud Wood. That's one of the best private blend fragrances out there still to this day. So S tier. Polo Blue Eau de Toilette. That one still sells really well. Like, why? What are you doing? Now, when that first came out, it was a big hit, obviously still is, but it's so boring. I know that some people love it, and I'm not bagging on it. Well, I am bagging on it, but I'm not bagging on you if you love it. The cucumber in there just never really worked for me. It's screechy, it's synthetic. I don't dig it. The Polo Blues that came out after the original, many years after, like Eau de Parfum version, or literally any of them. They're all better, okay? I don't know, that's some hard-hitting, in-depth breakdown, right? Which ones would you suggest? Literally any of them over that one? Genius, big brain. D tier. D tier for Polo Blue. Be gone. If you still love Polo Blue though, more power to you. I mean, there are fragrances that I wore back in the day that the vast majority of people say are trash, and I still love them. So if you love it, I love you for loving it. That's not weird. Okay, next up, let's do Dolce & Gabbana, the one Eau de Parfum. This one is an improvement over the original Eau de Toilette in pretty much every way. Just a fantastic evening out fragrance, date night fragrance. It's sweet, spicy, of course, sexy, alluring, inviting, compliment beast, all of these things. Yeah, the performance isn't great, but it's better than the Eau de Toilette. And as I've said a million times, and a million other people have said a million times, which means it's been said infinite number of times. With date night scents, a lot of times you want something that isn't quite as loud because you don't want to overpower the person that you're with. I love the scent profile of the one so much that I'm dropping that into S tier. Yes, S tier. Some people are going to say, no, it's played out. It's been out for so long. So many people have worn it. That is true. But when I smell that fragrance, even today, I still love it just as much as the first time I smelled it. So got to drop it into the old S tier. Let's go with what I believe is the newest one on this list, Azzaro, the Most Wanted. Now, this fragrance has grown on me over time. It does have some similarities to some other fragrances that have come out recently, stuff like Stronger With You Intensely, that whole family of fragrances, and really toffee and caramel notes in men's fragrances have taken off over the past year or two. I mean, you just see it over and over and over. Caramel, toffee, amberwood, you see this a lot. And for that reason, I'll dock it a little bit, but the fragrance itself, really solid. I'm gonna drop it into B tier. Invictus. Let's do Invictus next, yeah. Paco Rabanne Invictus. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I'm gonna drop it into D tier because I hate Invictus. While it's true, I don't really love Invictus and I don't wear Invictus. Some of the flankers that came after are pretty good. Especially Invictus Victory. Invictus Aqua, very nice also. But the original Invictus with that bubble gum, that synthetic sweetness, it just never worked for me. But I understand how important that one is. It is massively influential. Big compliment puller. Younger guys love it. Very versatile. For me though, it's gotta be a C tier. I'm not dropping it into D. It does what it does very well. It's just not a fragrance that I personally like wearing a whole lot. It's not my thing. All right, next up, Biggie, Dior Sauvage. Now, this one is the Eau de Toilette. That's the one we're going with because there are, like I said at the beginning of the video, a bunch of different flankers of Sauvage, and pretty much all of them are in the top sellers, the best sellers of each website. And I don't want, of the 21 fragrances here, to include 3 Sauvages and 3 Bleu de Chanels, because then 6 of the 21 will be those, so no thanks. Sauvage Eau de Toilette, huge compliment puller, of course. I mean, that's one of the things that drives sales. When people come up to you and say, "What are you wearing? You smell really good." You go, "Oh yeah, man, I just got the new Dior Sauvage, bro. It's pretty sick, dude." And then you go buy another bottle. "Yeah, bro. Compliments, dude. Sick, bro." Then you take your polo collar, I guess, and pop it. So Dior Sauvage, big compliment puller, metallic, ambroxany. You've got pepper in there, bergamot, ultra versatile, big performance. I actually like the way it smells. I think it's really nice. Whole Sauvage line I like, but not an S tier for me. I'll drop it into the A tier. And since we did Sauvage, let's do Prada Luna Rossa Carbon, which is basically Prada's version of Sauvage. A little bit smoother, not as aggressive, not as in your face, but definitely inspired by Dior Sauvage. You can smell them side by side and tell what Prada was doing there, which is lifting some ideas. This one I got to drop into A, right next to Sauvage. I mean, it's close, man. It's close to the same thing. Some people will like Sauvage more, some people will like Luna Roasted Carbon more, but I can't really put one above the other here. Up next, we got Versace Eros. This is the Eau de Toilette. Really well known for being a club fragrance, you know, really sweet, attention grabbing, in your face, youthful. It's all those things. I've worn this to the office a bunch as well. Actually, it's really safe. It's easy to wear. It's kind of hard to place this one. I think for me, I'm gonna drop it into the B tier. So I guess if this were like a school report card, S would be like an A+, okay? C is average, B is above average, but not quite excellent. So that's where I'm gonna put Eros. I like it, I think it's solid, but I prefer Eros Flame and Eros Eau de Parfum over the original at this point, at least just for me personally. And so where that's not really the heaviest hitter from the line for me, I'm gonna drop it into the B tier. Up next, Valentino Uomo, Born in Roma. Obviously, this one sells really well for Valentino. In terms of making money, I guess they made the right choice in switching from how the Uomo line was being done, which was, in my opinion, way better than how it is now. But apparently they made the right choice because Born in Roma is amongst the top sellers on all the websites that I checked, which tells me that people love bubblegummy sweet Invictus style fragrances. My favorite. I'm not a fan of Born in Roma, said that a bunch. I do think Born in Roma Yellow Dream overall is a better fragrance than Born in Roma. But that's not saying a whole heck of a lot because Born in Roma, that's getting dropped into D tier. Let's do Acqua di Gio next. Good old Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio. This one has been a top seller since it came out. It's the best-selling men's fragrance of all time. It was my signature scent for years. At this point in time, I'd rather wear Profundo or Profundo Lights or Profumo. But still yet, Acqua di Gio is gonna get dropped into S tier because for me personally, that is one of the most important fragrances of my life. I can't tell you how many bottles I've gone through with that stuff. Can't tell you how many positive interactions I've had with people while wearing that fragrance, especially when I was younger. So even though I don't really wear the original nowadays, I would wear one of the more modern versions of it, I'm still gonna drop it into S. Nostalgia reasons. Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana. So Light Blue is a fragrance that for me, it never really did it for me. Don't think it smells terrible or anything like that. It's just never been a fragrance where I was like, man, Light Blue. It's been a bestseller for a long time. People love it. I get that. A bunch of the flankers I think are better than the original. So this one's getting dropped into C tier. Spice Bomb next. Spice Bomb. This one I always loved. First time I smelled Spice Bomb, I was really impressed by it. Thought it smelled fantastic. I enjoyed that aggressive opening. And I think it's a great scent. So that one, A tier. Why Eau de Parfum by Yves Saint Laurent. Yeah, this one's difficult for me. This one teeters on the edge between an S and an A because the versatility here is unmatched. The compliment factor is through the roof. As far as blue fragrances go, Why Eau de Parfum, along with Why Le Parfum, are probably my most worn ones. You know, I kind of want to sit it between S and A, but that's not a possibility. I guess we're dropping it into S. Just an absolute beast monster. Up next, let's do Bad Boy, the original Eau de Toilette. I think the Le Parfum version is better. That one's much more interesting to me. The Eau de Toilette is just kind of a forgettable fragrance. It doesn't really do anything for me, so that one I'm dropping into D, right next to Born in Roma. Le Parfum probably would get a B if it were on this list though. Next up, let's do 1 Million. 1 Million, kind of the quintessential clubbing fragrance. Again, really sweet, heavy dose of cinnamon in there. That one is gonna be a B for me. I like it. It is like a few of the ones on here, maybe overplayed, some people would say. but I really enjoy that one. Up next, let's do Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. This one, another just attention grabbing monster. I mean, so many of these fragrances are, honestly, if you look through this list, you can tell that the common theme here is, frankly, compliments and attention grabbing ability of the fragrance. I know that a lot of people absolutely hate talking about the compliment factor of fragrances, but yeah, there's a common theme here. Maybe it doesn't get talked about quite as much as it used to. Eau Extreme for a while was enormously hyped, and you know, people don't talk about it quite as much, but it still is a fantastic scent, and that one I'm going to drop into A tier. Next up, we have Versace Pour Homme. Oh man, this is another tough one for me. So this one, my initial instinct is to drop it between A and B. That's like, again, if that were a possibility, like in between, that's where I would put it. It's got a similarity to Chanel Allure Homme Sport, but a little bit fresher than that one. Not as dense, not as creamy. It's great for the summer. One of my favorite summer scents. For that reason, I'm gonna have to drop it into A. Again, better buy at a discounter than a retail store. Discounters, you're gonna save a lot more money. That leaves us with Bleu de Chanel, and we have gone top heavy, but that's fine. These are bestsellers for a reason. Bleu de Chanel, I'm gonna have to drop into S, and I know some people will not agree with me, but I think as far as just the out and out quality of a designer mainline blue fragrance, when you smell Bleu de Chanel, I'd say that's the tops as far as just the quality of the fragrance itself. It also really helped in earnest kick off this whole blue wave of fragrances that we've been riding for so long. Some people were gonna, dock at points for that, but I don't think you can, just because it shows how successful Bleu de Chanel is, that every single other fragrance house said, oh, we gotta get something like that. When you have a fragrance that just kicks off that well, that powerfully, I think you have to recognize that power. Recognize the power within you. It's like an 80s movie kind of thing. Like one of those inspirational quotes. So, yeah, I think we'll leave it here. If I sat here for a while, I could probably convince myself to move some of these up or down, but we're gonna leave it there. So, there we go. 21 of the most popular fragrances ranked via Tier Maker. Again, I'll link this below. I'll link all the fragrances below. It's gonna be, that's a lot of stuff, but I'll link everything below in case you want to check it out. Again, a shout out to the Beast Mode Gents. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you're interested in becoming a Beast Mode Gent, hit the join button below. Check out all the tiers and the perks that are within you. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.